Welcome back to the IbPython3 notebook series. In this video, we're going to be looking at placing orders and viewing those orders in the TraderWorkstation itself. So let's get started. We first load our modules. In this example, we're going to connect with a client ID of 444. So we will make our connection to TWS. Now, these are the normal market data connection messages that occur upon connecting. There is nothing out of the ordinary here. One of the first pieces of information given to the client by the Interactive Broker server is the next valid order ID to use for the client ID with which you just connected. We will view that piece of information here, which is order ID 1. This indicates that client ID 444 has yet to be used to make an order with the server. Alternatively, we can request from the server the ID at any time using this function here. So we'll go ahead and just view that as well. And sure enough, they're identical. When placing orders in TWS, the onus is on the user to ensure that they use order IDs that are always increasing. Every order that you place must have an order ID that is higher than anything that was previously used before. IbPython3 automatically manages this process. It will read the next valid order ID upon establishing a connection, and when you place an order with the client, it gives you the next valid order ID automatically. So that is all handled behind the scenes. If you wish, you can also specify a custom order ID. In this example, we'll use 1 million. And when it initializes the order processor, it will use this order ID. So we'll go ahead and do that, giving us the next valid order ID of 1 million now. So let's go ahead and make a trade here. We will do a euro-dollar trade where we create a market order. Well, first of all, here's a contract, euro-dollar on Ideal Pro and a cash instrument. Our order is a buy order at market for 250,000 euros. So we'll run this cell, which just creates the orders and the contract, but doesn't yet place it. Now here, we'll actually place the order, and as we mentioned, the order ID is actually returned from the function when you place the order. So this will return the order ID that was used to place that order, and we'll view that as we run it. So we go ahead and run that. Over here, let's switch to the API view. This shows that we just bought, here's the trade that we just placed, and in the trade summary down here, it confirms that we just bought 250,000 euros at a price of 1.38145. So our order has been executed. We can also check on the order status of our orders. These are sent multiple times, so you can actually get an order status which is exactly the same. They're duplicates. So we need to create a list to be able to view all of these. And we will do that here and print them out. So the oldest is at the bottom of the list and the most recent is at the top. These are time-stamped by the client when they're received from the server. So these are identical order status updates. So we really just care about the most recent one up here. And we can see that it was filled using the average fill price of 13815. There's probably more precision. I believe this is just rounding for the print. When it prints out here, it's just rounding it. But the actual information is stored in the object itself. So let's create a contract and place a market order to buy 100 shares of Apple stock. Here is our symbol of Apple, dollar currency, stock, security type, using SMART for the exchange type, and NASDAQ as a primary exchange. That creates our contract. Our order is a buy order at market for 100 shares. And this here will place the order as well. So we'll go ahead and run that. It shows up here. It just placed the order, and we bought 100 shares of Apple at a price of 592.38. Let's do another example using a futures contract. We'll use the Crude Light Oil Futures, and these are the month codes for various expiries. And what we're going to do is just pick one 6 months from today. This is April, so it'll use the October 14 contract as it'll create that for us. This creates the contract on the NYMEX for the exchange. It's a future for the security type, and it will place an order to buy at market one contract and place the order here. So we'll go ahead and run this, and we just bought one future contract here, which is confirmed in our trade summary below. One of the purposes of using the API is to be able to react to market prices. In this example, we'll place a bracket order where we buy at market 100 shares of Apple and simultaneously submit two sell orders that are linked. One is a stop order below, it's a sell stop order below the current price, and the other is a sell limit order above the current price. When one of those two orders executes, the other is canceled automatically. In this example, we will buy 100 shares of Apple again, and we will submit a stop order at a sell stop order at 1% below the current market price and a sell limit order at 1% above the current market price. So in the example here, this is requesting the contract details so it gets the minimum tick. In this example, it's just 1 cent. Here, depending if our order is a buy or a sell, we're going to get the bid or the ask price. This is a buy, so we will just have the bid price. And then it will loop until it gets the current bid price for the stock, and then it assigns it to the price. We're done with the price, so we cancel our market data request. Here's our 1% distance that we're looking for the 1% above and below. And this sets the stop and limit prices, and this will create the orders but not place them. So we will go ahead and run all of that. Now this will just confirm quickly the stop price, the bid price that was observed, the 592.43. This set a stop price at 1% below that, a limit price 1% above. And here is the minimum tick that we got back from our contract details of 1 cent. So that is fine. Now we will place the order. This places the parent order. We then assign that parent order ID to the stop order and to the limit order. So we assign the order ID of the parent to both of those, and then we place the stop order and the limit order. Now, one important point is the transmit. We don't transmit until we have our last order. So our previous one, where's the parent order? Come on, there you are. Transmit false on the parent order, transmit false on the first child order, and transmit true on the last child order which we submit. So we will go ahead and now place all of those orders as one package. Here they are. We just bought 100 shares of Apple, which is confirmed below, and we placed two sell orders. One with the limit price 1% above the current market price, the other with a stop price 1% below the current market price. And both of those are waiting to transact if the price will move outside of that range. So let us place and cancel an order as an example. We will use the same Apple contract. Our order is just a buy limit order with a limit price of $1, meaning we will only buy it if the price goes below $1, which is very, very unlikely to happen. So we will go ahead and place this this phantom order here, buy with a limit price of $1. And here we'll just go ahead and cancel the order we just placed. This shows that the order has been canceled and it is now gone. So let's look at some of the open order information that's returned from the server. Here we'll request our open orders and we'll view the information. Open order itself is not an actual class in the IB API. However, IbPython3 has made a class to store the information that's returned, which is both the order state, the contract, and the order itself. So this just hides my account number as well. So we'll just go ahead and view this information. We will run this. I'm not sure if I ran that. Let me run this. This also, the message here confirms that our order was canceled for, where is it? For this order ID. So that just confirms the cancellation which we previously did. Now we'll view this information. Up above, we looked at the open order information that was returned, where there were duplicate information for a single order, the euro-dollar that we were looking at for order ID 1 million. This just shows for all the orders we've placed so far, all the open order objects that have been returned for each. This is the full long list of each. So we'll start at the top. We won't go through all these, but just as an example of what the information is. 1 million, this is our first euro-dollar contract that we executed. It shows the status, the order state here. The status is filled. The commission paid was $6.91. This is the contract summary for the euro-dollar. And then down here, this is the actual order itself. So this is all the order information for that contract that we just placed, for the transaction we executed. This, as I mentioned, is the duplicate information, which we don't really care about, and this goes down quite a ways. So let me see if I could find an OCA. I mentioned that the stop and limit orders were grouped. This is the OCA group number. So if one of these trades gets executed, the other will be canceled automatically. Okay, let's look at the order state for each of our open orders here. This just looks at the latest. The 0 will look at the first item on the list, which will be the most latest received for the order state of each of our open orders here. So the euro-dollar, the first transaction that we did, it shows it filled with the commission that we saw earlier. These are the order state of all the others that we've done. Here was the Apple buy, followed by the that is the stop order here that we submitted, and the limit order that's paired with it. Pre-submit, because we had transmit false, submitted was transmit true. These have yet to execute. And this last order was the limit $1 limit order, which we subsequently canceled. So let's look at the order status of all of our orders. Again, order status itself is not a class in the IB API. However, we made it a class just to keep track of all the information that is returned, and this parses all that information, creates the class, and makes a dictionary using Python's dictionary comprehension to display all of this. Let's run that up here and run the other one down here, and this shows the order status filled. This is the Apple transaction that we did where we bought 100 shares. This is the futures contract for the Crude Light. Down here is another Apple where we purchased, followed by the stop and the limit orders. And lastly was the $1 limit order we did on Apple, which we subsequently canceled. So let's go ahead and cancel all of our remaining orders, which is just the stop and limit order here. This is just a global cancel to cancel all of our outstanding orders. Again, this confirms that the orders have been canceled. So we'll now disconnect, and the messages confirm that those orders have indeed been canceled given the order IDs that were used. So our next video, we'll be looking at executions. Let me quickly correct what I specified earlier. I mentioned the bid price because I saw that there. Because we're buying, we're obviously using the ask price, and it should be ask price down here. That's what the code was doing. I just specified that incorrectly, and I wanted to clarify that.